Welcome to the Tech Mobility Podcast, brought to you by Playbook Investors Network, your strategic partner for unstoppable growth. Visit pincommunity.org to get started.
I'm Ken Chester. On the docket, my review and impressions of the Hyundai Santa Cruz, a 621-mile EV battery, and why housing is the gateway for commerce. To join the conversation, be it to ask a question, share an opinion, or even to suggest a topic for future discussion, call or text the Tech Mobility Hotline. That number, 872-222-9793, or you can email the show directly, talk@techmobility.show. From the Tech Mobility News Desk, I finally get to talk about an autonomous trucking company that is taking the autonomous experience north. And I don't mean north Arizona. I don't mean Nevada. I mean north, like Michigan north, like snow, ice, and nasty weather north, like blizzards and rain and ice and nastiness north. Torq Robotics takes autonomous trucks into Michigan's snow and ice. The Daimler Truck subsidiary expands public road testing beyond the Sunbelt corridors in a push towards 2027 commercialization. There's a lot to unpack right there. So let's talk about it. This is 2026. They have recently expanded their public road testing to the greater Ann Arbor area using the latest generation autonomous chassis based on a Freightliner Cascadia. But stop a minute. We have talked about autonomous big rig trucking. You know for a fact, because I've talked about it a lot, that most of that activity was centered in Texas and Arizona mainly, typically between Dallas and Phoenix or other lanes within Texas. That's where it's been. And yeah, we've talked about one autonomous trucking project that happened over a Thanksgiving Day holiday weekend that traveled Interstate 10 across the lower part of the United States, I believe from California to Georgia. That happened. Those of you that have been with me a long time, remember my reference to the first ever autonomous load hauled ever. And it was from Fort Collins, Colorado to Colorado Springs. And yes, back then, 11 years ago, had a safety driver. 11 years ago, that's 2015. And that was a paid load of beer from the factory to the warehouse, Budweiser, in 2015. But most of the testing, most of the verification, and in fact, some of the first autonomous routes are all in the Southwest. It's easy to figure out. Minimum rain, minimum weather changes, predictable roads, predictable weather. Stuff that they could control as they roll these out to get efficiencies and roll up miles. But I've said it. What happens when you head north? Windstorms, sandstorms, ice, snow, lots of snow, hard rain, hail. Different traffic patterns, narrower roads, more congestion, much more congestion. Put that all together. To my knowledge, Torq Robotics is the first one that is making this progress, and we knew it was a matter of time. I mean, it's great to run between Texas and Arizona, maybe Texas and California. That's wonderful, but you got a whole bunch of other country that trucking covers and needs the same economies of scale, particularly now. What blows my mind is they just started and they think they will be commercial grade by next year. They've spent years in the Southwest. And you're going to have this down. You've learned so much down there that what you're going to add to your learning will only take a year and a half? According to the article, this marks a first and strategic departure from the Sunbelt corridors that dominate autonomous trucking development. According to Torq, it really represents the next step in our path towards commercialization when we look at more environments for the trucks to operate within and validate the overall software and hardware that we're building. I can't even imagine these trucks operating in the highways around Detroit. Can't. They would be real interesting. If you've ever traveled around Detroit, everywhere from Interstate 696, which is 8 lanes wide and 85 miles an hour, to the narrowness of Michigan Highway 10 Southwest Corridor that takes you from Southfield into Detroit. There ain't a whole lot of room for anything on 10. It ain't friendly. Then there's 275 and 96. Traffic patterns, all kinds of road construction, all kinds of stuff. Super crazy drivers. Yet they want to bring autonomous trucks into this realm. I just wonder. We've seen robo-taxis have issues. They don't weigh anywhere near this. They don't carry the type of load, and they're much smaller. We're talking about a fully loaded 60-ton tractor trailer at highway speeds in a very dense, populated, anything goes just about environment. Even if they just confine them to Interstate 94 from Chicago to Detroit. There's some still nasty corners, particularly at Kalamazoo. And that's a whole nother animal. Truckers have a hard enough time running that road. Not to mention, are you looking at, and they don't talk about it, if they're looking at going autonomous EV trucks, or are you looking at autonomous diesel-powered trucks? The reason why I make that distinction is infrastructure, charging times, getting on and off the road. Will they need or will it be required to have safety drivers? I can't imagine Michigan giving them free rein. Obviously, depending on whose side you're on, the truckers and the safety folks are against it generally. The shippers and the folks who have a vested interest are for it generally. I think that in this case, again, remember, we don't have blanket laws federally regarding autonomous vehicles of any kind. The vehicles that are operating, the robo-taxis and the autonomous trucks are operating on an exemption and in very limited situations, governed for the most part by state governments with just really light federal oversight. As far as federal law, state to state, no, we don't have anything like that. And as the man once said, what could possibly go wrong? I can think of a lot of things. But they think they're going to have this thing on the road by 2027. They think that they are at a point where their software is that good. I'm not sure about that because I've seen some pretty nasty weather in the lower part of Michigan, let alone upper Michigan. So it's going to be a matter of time of whether or not this is a commercial venture or a pipe dream. And I guess we'll see as they start racking up the miles in Michigan in all kinds of weather and to see if it fails or if it succeeds. If it succeeds, it's a whole new avenue and more money, and others will join them. And then the state will have to respond. Hyundai developed a modern-day El Camino type vehicle. My impressions are next. You are listening to the Tech Mobility Show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
Searching for one great SUV? Hyundai has two. Announcing the Hyundai Challenge, where we challenge you to compare our award-winning Santa Fe and Tucson and save thousands over the comparably equipped Honda and Toyota. Do the research. Do the test drive. You owe it to yourself to get America's best warranty and check out Hyundai before you spend too much on Honda or Toyota. Take the Hyundai Challenge today. During the Hyundai Challenge, lease a new Hyundai Tucson for just $199 a month. But hurry, offer ends May 31st.
Wouldn't you love to buy a new vehicle with a payment of $199 a month? Like, sign me up. Unfortunately, that was 20 years ago. 20 years ago. And Hyundai even then was so confident about what they were building, they were name dropping. They said, yeah, oh no, before you spend all that money buying, oh my goodness, a Honda or a Toyota, check us out. We're absolutely as good. The strength of the Hyundai warranty is really what made that company. Because 10 years, 100,000 miles, literally bumper to bumper, nothing, I mean, it was no risk for you. No risk. And to this day, still the best warranty in the marketplace. Even your more expensive vehicles don't come close. And I'm calling you, Lexus, Cadillac, Lincoln. I'm calling y'all. You ain't got a warranty that good. Nope. They still do, and it's still working for them. More than a sedan, less heft than a traditional pickup truck, more versatility than an SUV. Welcome to the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Based on the Tucson crossover that's derived from the Hyundai Elantra sedan, the automaker describes it as a sport adventure vehicle. The original concept was introduced at the 2015 North American International Auto Show in Detroit, generating significant interest in a small unibody truck. Boasting a 4.5-foot cargo bed, available all-wheel drive, and a focus on crossover-like comfort rather than traditional towing, Hyundai believed that there was a market for a smaller vehicle that offered consumers more versatility in a compact package. But I want to give you a heads up, this formula has been tried before. If you're a certain age, you might remember that Chevrolet offered something similar in the model years 59 and 60 and 64 through 87 called the El Camino. GMC built a sibling that was called the El Caballero. Based on the Chevy Malibu sedan, it attempted to blur the distinction between car and light-duty, and I mean very light-duty, pickup truck. Not to be outdone, Ford countered with the Ranchero, which was based on a two-door station wagon platform. Interestingly enough, Chrysler didn't attempt anything like that until the 1980s. And from 1982 to 1984, it offered the Dodge Rampage, a unibody cabin cargo area vehicle that was based on the automaker's ill-fated Dodge Omni and Plymouth Horizon subcompacts. They were a train wreck. We'll talk about that sometime. The production version of the Santa Cruz was unveiled in April 2021 as a 2022 model. Manufactured in Montgomery, Alabama, industry analysts expected the Santa Cruz to attract car or crossover SUV buyers instead of people who have owned a larger traditional pickup truck and lifestylers needing an open bed rather than commercial buyers. Available in 5 models, base power for the Santa Cruz is provided by a SmartStream 2.5-liter 4-cylinder gasoline engine that makes 191 horsepower and 181 foot-pounds of torque. A more powerful turbo variant of the same engine generates 281 horsepower and 311 foot-pounds of torque, and that's optional. Both engines deliver power to the front drive wheels via an 8-speed automatic transmission with steering wheel mounted paddle shifters. Let me clarify that. The base engine drives it to the front drive wheels. The larger engine comes standard with all-wheel drive. The Santa Cruz offers drivers several drive modes: normal, sport, smart, and snow to respond more precisely to road and weather conditions. On-demand hill descent control, a center differential lock for all-wheel drive models, and auto hold added driver control and confidence. EPA fuel economy numbers for the base engine are 22 city, 30 highway for front-wheel drive, 21 city, 29 highway for all-wheel drive. For the optional turbo, it's 18 city, 25 highway. Payload capacity is 1,411 pounds. Towing capacity with trailer brakes is 5,000 pounds. Here's what I liked about the Santa Cruz. First of all, the Santa Cruz boasts a handsome exterior form that is modern and contemporary. And I also love the fact that not only is the Santa Cruz American-made, but so is the engine and transmission. The driver enjoys an elevated view of the road, but without the high step-in height. Displays, controls, and switchgear are user-friendly. Underway, the Santa Cruz, when equipped with the turbo engine, is responsive to driver inputs. Front seats are heated, cooled, and power adjustable. Rear seat accommodations include a split folding seat arrangement with a center armrest and molded cup holders. USB ports are found throughout the cabin. The rear bumper features recessed footholds for better access to the cargo area. What I didn't like about the Santa Cruz: the rear seating area is very snug. Very snug. And did I mention it was very snug? With the seat backs a bit too upright to be comfortable for long distances. Yeah, it's straight up, bolt upright. The spare tire is mounted under the cargo bed. Y'all know how I feel about that. Exposed to all the ugliness of age and road debris. Because typically you're going to need it when the thing's about 7 years old after about 4 or 5 winters, and everything's going to be brittle or hard to remove. And of course, it's going to be one of the back tires. That's always the way it is. The power rear windows are not automatic up-down, and the vehicle, believe it or not, is not equipped with fog lights. I would think that a vehicle like this, fog lights would be ideal. I think it would be cool. Or if they really wanted to go somewhere, it'd be nice if they had a light bar, but they don't. Here's the bottom line. If there's just the driver and front passenger, for just the two of you, you're going to love the Hyundai Santa Cruz. Rear seat accommodations do not encourage passengers, and for sure, not on long trips. And I found the pricing for this vehicle to be rather high for what it is. And I guess apparently so did most other consumers, because the 2026 model year will be the last for this unique vehicle. The base manufacturer's suggested retail price for the 2026 Hyundai Santa Cruz starts from $29,750 for the SE front-wheel drive model and up to $43,700 for the limited all-wheel drive. Destination charges add $1,495. And as tested, I had a Santa Cruz Limited all-wheel drive with the following extra cost options: the sage gray exterior paint and carpeted floor mats. Total cost of the options, $740. Total MSRP, including options and destination charges, came to $45,685. That is my beef. Now, granted, this is at the top of the pay scale. This is at the top of the range. But you know, I can buy a Palisade for that. I can literally buy a very well-equipped Kia Telluride for that. And I think that's probably where the issue was. If this thing was $10,000 cheaper, I think they'd be selling it all day. You know, if it started maybe at 19 or 21 and maxed out at 31 or 32,000, I think you probably have a lot more, because this actually was to go up against the Ford Maverick. And when the Maverick came out, it sold base entry $19,995. China's leading EV battery maker, CATL, has just introduced an EV battery with a range of 621 miles. This is the Tech Mobility Show.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. Regular listeners to this program know that I have long said that when it comes to EVs, the range will continue to increase while charging times will fall. And this kind of puts me back in the mind of the late 1990s when you had dial-up for internet. If you're a certain age, you'd remember, where you dialed the number for your area and you went to do something else as you waited for the system to connect, go through the noises, the hiss, and that connection. Most of us back then subscribed to America Online, which they called it training wheels for the internet. And the very thing you knew you were connected, you would hear, "You've got mail." Don't get that anymore. But back then, that was the thing. And, oh my God, download a movie? Are you serious? Not going to happen. You're lucky to just type text and barely that. Pictures and all that? No. You did not have the speed or the bandwidth or any of that. Your computers were super slow. Your connections were super slow. That was then. And you couldn't do too much. Now, we manipulate and download large files, gigabytes of files in milliseconds. And if it takes longer than that, you're angry. Imagine. On that same note, China's premier EV battery maker, CATL, has introduced an EV battery with a range of 621 miles. And another battery that has a charging time of under 7 minutes. This is topic B. See, a lot of you probably thought that when the United States collapsed relative to EV cash from the government, that all this would go away, because I get this stuff. People said, you know, the government's forcing us to take EVs, and I don't want to give up my internal combustion engine vehicle. Okay, it's America. You have the right. You don't have to buy it. Nobody's requiring you to buy it. As proof, government kicked the props out from underneath the EVs and people went to hybrids. People chose with their money. But here's the part you missed. The United States of America in population is only 5% of the world's population. And yeah, we consume 20% of the goods on this planet, but we're still in a minority. And the rest of the world continues to develop EV technology. Here's why it matters to you. China's CATL is the largest manufacturer of EV batteries in the world. And a lot of your major automakers buy their batteries. You know, names like Toyota. Yeah, them. It matters. This technology is going forward. The problem is, if American companies stop moving forward, they're going to be behind. Right now, quick question for you. Who is the largest manufacturer of EVs in the world? No, it's not Tesla. It's BYD. And right now, they also, by the way, BYD is also one of the largest manufacturers of EV batteries. And CATL is trying to stay in front of them by continuing to develop and evolve. 2 years ago, I told you, Toyota would come out with a battery by now with a range of approximately 650 miles in solid-state lithium. CATL has a 621-mile battery right now. And they've upgraded a fast-charging battery that can go from 10% to 98% in under 7 minutes. Now, it would behoove me not to be completely honest with you. There is a drawback to the extended mileage battery. It still uses nickel, manganese, cobalt, rare earths that everybody's trying to get away from. But they've improved it and they optimized it for long range. But these are still expensive rare earths. So there's that. But 621 miles, though. And this other battery, which is not that chemistry, 7 minutes. And it is a lithium iron phosphate battery, which is the cheaper batteries. And they've developed one that can recharge in less than 7 minutes. And a lot of the automakers are putting those batteries into vehicles that don't need the range or don't need the intensity, the density of the energy. BYD, by comparison, their latest Blade battery reportedly charges from 10% to 97% in under 9 minutes. And together, CATL and BYD control more than half of the global EV battery market. It's going to happen whether you want it to. But see, CATL is not just sitting there. They're also developed and distributing sodium-ion EV batteries. That technology is seen as a lower-cost alternative that can reduce dependence on lithium, cobalt, and nickel. But again, did not stop there. Something that you don't see in the United States, but we've talked about, is battery swapping. CATL will also expand its battery swapping and charging infrastructure across China. They plan to build 100,000 charging and swapping stations with a group of Chinese car makers by the end of 2028. They will have this institutional knowledge down pat, meaning that there's a whole bunch of different ways. And the way that one of the major ways that they are mitigating the expense of buying an EV is you buy the car, you rent the battery. You lease the battery. And by leasing the battery and it's swappable, 5 minutes. 5 minutes. And in some countries, they've got it automated. You pull in and it's totally automated. It takes 5 minutes. Swap out your wore out battery, put in your new one. You don't have to worry about nothing. You don't have to sit around and wait for it to charge. Swap it, go. 5 minutes. This industry is developing whether the United States is involved or not. They're importing Chinese cars into Canada, people. They're already selling Chinese cars in Mexico. BYD builds buses in the United States right now, in case you didn't know. This is happening. This is happening. Don't let the narrow view of the end of EV subsidies for American-made EVs cloud your knowledge on what's going on in the world around you. It is already impacting us because Toyota, Tesla, and several Chinese brands buy from CATL right now. And here's something they said I found was incredibly interesting, and it's something I told you. Quote from a company official: The boundaries of electrochemistry are still far from being reached, and the possibilities of material science are still far from being exhausted, meaning we can and we will get better. Longer range, shorter charge times, more density, cheaper materials, longer life. It's happening. That is the nature of the beast. It's the nature of the auto industry, always has been. And with CATL looking at many different ways of getting there, you're going to end up dealing with them whether you want to or not. Because they're not just putting all their eggs in one basket. They're spreading it out. And that doesn't even count some of the stuff that's in development that they haven't even talked about yet. And trust me, if they're saying that there's a lot of room to run, they've got some stuff under development that's not ready for prime time just yet, but will be. Toyota said they'd have a 1,000-mile battery by the end of the decade. EV battery. Think about it. Next, learn why the home is the final frontier for doorstep commerce. We are the Tech Mobility Show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than AONmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. AONmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. That's techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
In business, opportunity doesn't wait, and neither should you. At Playbook Investors Network, we connect visionary entrepreneurs with the strategies, resources, and capital they need to win. Whether you're launching, scaling, or reimagining your business, our network turns ambition into measurable success. Your vision deserves more than a plan. It deserves a playbook that works. Playbook Investors Network, where bold ideas meet bold results. Visit pincommunity.org today.
Did you know that Tech Mobility has a YouTube channel? Hi, I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. Each week, I upload a few short videos of some of the hot topics that I cover during my weekly radio program. I've designed these videos to be informative and entertaining. It's another way to keep up on current mobility and technology news and information. Be sure to watch, like, and subscribe to my channel. That's the Tech Mobility Show on YouTube. Check it out. Housing is the gateway for commerce. That is the approach that the company Built Technologies, as BILT, is taking in servicing as payment platform for renters, evolving into a service platform that will encompass homeowners, restaurants, retailers, car services, fitness studios, and other vendors. The goal is to turn the home into the hub of everything we do. Wait a minute. Isn't that what our cell phones do right now? This is Topic C. I think there's some advantage of having a platform that will help you do things. Problem I've got here, let me just give you an example. This is a company that started as a rent processing company. What they're doing is they're evolving their platform to add other stuff to the platform, so you will use the platform to order from a restaurant, make reservations, get your dry cleaning picked up, all this kind of stuff. Because if they stay sticky, they can charge for it. They want you to use it. But here's the problem. Are we losing something with all this convenience? At what point does convenience actually become counterintuitive? If you never had to leave the house, is that a good thing? I mean, think about it. We get up, we go And if you live in the Midwest, you have no choice. You drive to get gasoline, you drive to run errands, you drive to the grocery store, you may pay some bills, you go see somebody, you go pick stuff up, go eat out at a restaurant. We've seen a partial return of people to the office, even though there's some people still working at home. I'm one of them. But imagine if I didn't have to leave the house for anything. But is that really good for society? Is that really good for the public? Is that really good for even a city? If you're not out walking, if you're not out interacting with people in real time, in real life, is this a good thing? We've talked about, and you've seen the stories and the surveys and the research about people who spend way too much time on social media and the negative impact it has. I wonder, they call it the AI neighborhood concierge. And I wonder, is this really what we want to do? I mean, there's times, all right? You come home from work, you don't want to be bothered, but we've got DoorDash, Grubhub, Uber Eats. You got something like that now. But what this outfit wants to do is link those in to your rent-paying app, so that app is your end-all, be-all. I just wonder how they're going to compete against your cell phone, which for a lot of people already is your end-all, be-all. America is a country of freedom. We equate movement with freedom, the ability to go and come as we please when we want to. Are we becoming a country of couch potatoes now? And if we are, I read this, and it talks about the home is a battleground of commerce that few have yet to master, but many increasingly want to own. I cannot imagine. And then they pose this question. They said the goal is to turn the home into the hub of everything they do and buy around it, likening the Asiatic service to being in a hotel. We can let customers wake up and say, hey, can you pay my rent for me, have eggs delivered to my apartment, and make a reservation for dinner? And again, I ask, are we losing something here? Is this a general dumbing down? Are we transferring the ability and the institutional knowledge of knowing how to do stuff to AI? I'm not okay with this. This doesn't sit right with me. I like going. I like traveling. I like interacting. And yeah, I'm going to be honest, there's some days I don't want to, and there are some days where ordering in is great. But I don't want that to be my way of life, and I don't want any one platform, phone, renter's platform, or otherwise, to control my life. Because if something goes wrong, sideways, or crazy, I'm stuck. And that is not okay. And that's the problem. When you get dependent on something like this for your end-all, be-all, everything, if it fails, if it goes sideways, company goes broke, whatever, goes bivouac, you stuck. And if you've been doing it long enough, you forget how to do stuff. And is that really okay? I remember watching a movie once. It's a Disney movie, actually, with a weird message called Wall-E. And in that movie, that actually it's a comic, a cartoon, really. People had to leave Earth because the pollution was so bad and the trash was so horrible they couldn't inhabit it. The trip was supposed to be for 5 years. They were on that ship for 700. And they lost the ability to do basic stuff. Now, yeah, that's an extreme case. Yes, I get it. But isn't this where we're going? I mean, technology is great, but at what point do you say no to the technology and say, you know what? A little friction in my life is okay. I don't want a 100% friction-free life, meaning I don't interact with anybody, I don't have to go anywhere, and I don't have to see anything. What kind of life is that? what kind of quality of life is that? It is great, but I bristle at this stuff because you get to a point where it is TOO. In the case of this company, Built, the loyalty and payments platform now powers rental payments in 25% of U.S. office buildings right now, and they only started in 2019. And they're already in 25% of apartment buildings in the United States. That's 5.5 million people. I'm not okay. I'm not okay. They said just because we're integrated into your building, restaurants, the gym, grocery store, car service, and more, we can let customers wake up and say, whatever they want to do and not leave the house. No. And again, no. I might be old fogey with this, but honestly, there's a limit to technology, and it should not be overall controlling in every aspect of your life. And sometimes you need to turn this stuff off and step away and go out and smell the roses and look at the grass and, I don't know, contemplate a tree. It's okay. For me, I still read books. Not Kindle, by the way. I read real books with paper and a highlighter and stuff like that. Because you shouldn't have things that control your life beyond your control. You should never, ever, ever give up your right to choose.
This is the Tech Mobility Podcast.
Every great business starts with a spark, but taking it to the next level takes strategy, connections, and capital. That's where Playbook Investors Network comes in. We're your strategic partner for accelerating growth, navigating challenges, and capturing market opportunities before your competition does. Your business is more than an idea. Let's make it an impact. Playbook Investors Network. Your future starts here. Learn more at pincommunity.org.
To learn more about the Tech Mobility Show, start by visiting our website. I'm Ken Chester, host of the Tech Mobility Show. The website is a treasure trove of information about me and the show, as well as where to find it on the radio across the country. Keep up with the happenings at the Tech Mobility Show by visiting techmobility.show. You can also drop us a line at talk@techmobility.show.
Are you tired of juggling multiple apps and platforms for meetings, webinars, and staying connected? Look no further than aonmeetings.com, the all-in-one browser-based platform that does it all. With AON Meetings, you can effortlessly communicate with clients, host virtual meetings and webinars, and stay in touch with family and friends, all in one place and for one price. Here's the best part. You can enjoy a 30-day free trial. It's time to simplify your life and boost your productivity. aonmeetings.com, where innovation meets connection. Get started today and revolutionize the way you communicate.
You've got the drive. You've got the vision. Now you need the right partner to make it happen. At Playbook Investors Network, we power ambitious leaders with the tools, insight, and investment connections to move faster, grow stronger, and lead markets. We're more than advisors. We're your co-pilots in success. Because in business, standing still is not an option. Playbook Investors Network, fueling ambition, delivering results. Visit pincommunity.org.